Seniors this week, the third round of the S1 National Kart Championships from the Three Sisters circuit, Wigan in Lancashire, England. Well, it's a blustery day that might cause a problem or two later on. And the crowd begin to gather, and a yawn or two now, but you won't see many of those later when the action kicks off. Our featured classes as always are TKM and Formula A, and it's a critical point in the season. This is the halfway stage, and if you ain't in the top 10 at the close of play today, then you probably best forget it. But before all that, Alan Turney talks power packs, and in particular, TKM.
It's a 100cc two-stroke engine. It revs to around 16,000 to 17,000, if you believe some of the competitors in the pits. This, of course, makes a very fast engine. On a circuit like this, which has got very long straights, if they get the heads down, they can produce those miles per hour. It's a single sprocket, no gears. Yeah, they can do 80 mile an hour plus.
And just 100cc?
100cc, that's a lot of power from 100cc. It's a very strong unit, hence the class is a very popular class.
So how would you tune an engine like that?
Difficult in a class like this, no tuning rules, etc. How they would tune the engine to get good performances from the carburation, the kart, and obviously a good driver helps.
Those of you following the series will know that we're paying close attention to a young lady in TKM, of whom much is expected, but little delivered so far this year. Round 2 ended in tears.
I'm not sure, we're just going to take it as it comes. I mean, I really don't know, but I think the championship's sort of blown out the window after the Larkhill, because that was a complete disaster. So we're just after showing what I can do, really.
So what would you hope to get out of it now before the end of the season?
A few good results that will get sponsors in, so I can do cars next year, hopefully.
So the overall 5-year plan that we talked about at the beginning of the season isn't out of the window now? I mean, it's just back on course?
Well, it's not back on course. I mean, there's going to have to be a few adjustments, but hopefully,
You're looking more confident.
Yeah, I feel a lot more confident. I mean, Friday was a disaster. We tried different karts, but now, this morning we just bolted it on and it was quick, so can't really ask more than that.
Here we go then.
Yeah.
But before they go, let's take a look at the top 6 after 2 rounds. And Jay Howard, with wins in both, does look to be the boy to beat these days. Catherine Legg, 98 points behind him in lowly 34th, needs something very special to get anywhere near that top 10. This is the grid for the 8th final. Dan Jackson at 6, Ashley Todd 5, Adrian Crockett 4, Jay Howard championship leader only 3rd, reigning champion is 2, and the 1996 junior champion Gary Catt leads them all. And there he is on the inside on the hot lap. Full grid here of 24 drivers will contest the final TKM race of the day in the Ford Slick 50 Championship. Half a lap to go then before they get underway. And time for us to look at the circuit. First big problem is the first bend, a hairpin after just 50 metres. Then the S's, flat out downhill. The long right-hander flat out, all the way back to the hairpin that will test everyone's machinery. It's a tough track. It's a tough day ahead for Catherine Legg, on board with her. And that's it! Green is go. A super burst from Jay Howard takes him past Charles and Cat in the first 50 metres. But problems for Andrew Robinson, grid 20. Colliding there, I think, with James Stirrin, number 63. Leaders, Jay Howard from Gary Catt, Ashley Todd up 2 from grid 5, Philip Charles down 2 to 4, with half of the 14 laps completed. Let's look again at Andrew Robinson's pirouettes. There was indeed James Stirrin there, who aided and abetted. Meanwhile, Robinson attempts to rekindle the flame. Oh, but Stirrin is out. Extinguished, you might say. Not Howard, though. He's fired right up. Lap 2 leads. Ashley Todd slips Gary Catt. He goes second. Super move from the grid 5 man there. On board with Catherine Legg. Started grid 16th behind Nick Kelly. Now it's number 7, Simon Rogers, blocking the path. He started grid 11. So the young lady from Hazelmere makes an early move. Less than 7 seconds separate the top 22, and less than 3 the top 10. So, no obvious route yet for Catherine Legg past the weaving tactics of Rogers. Well, it could be that sort of day at the back of the train. Lap 3, Howard, head down, toe down, extends the lead to around 5 metres. And Catt has regained second, was being pushed along by Charles after losing out to Todd. And it's Todd now who will feel the heat from the champion. All looking over their shoulders, trying to anticipate the next strike. And it could come from anywhere, at any time. Howard, Cat, Todd, Charles, Breland, Tigwell, Jackson, Langley, Morrison, Hughes, and the top 10. Back on board with Catherine Legg. 30 was 12. Number 49, Oliver Poyser doing the damage there. He's up from grid 21. But he might dump back one here. Catherine Legg working for the gap. Oh, nothing there. Jay Howard drifting beautifully into the hairpin, pursued by the two champions. Tigwell, number 2, moves up 1 to 5th, and he takes Langley with him. He's now 8th. And while we were watching that, Legg is past Poyser, tucked in now behind number 38, Richard Hughes. But Hughes, quick to shut the door there. Catherine Legg bearing down the exhaust. That's 6, Todd and Charles. So where's Cat? There's Cat. No change, except Ashley Todd is soaking up an awful lot of pressure now from the number 1. Charles, constantly in the slipstream, plays a waiting game. Todd only needs to slide a half a cart or so, and Philip Charles is on him in a flash. And still, absolutely nothing between the top 10. Catherine Legg, eyes focused on the gap to slip Richard Hughes on her favourite part of the track. 9th position is the reward, up from grid 60. Harry Soden is the next target. Leader Howard, Cat is 2nd, and Philip Charles gets the payoff. The pressure delivers 3rd, almost the first time since the grid. So the halfway point is passed, and Jay Howard is running away with this one. Cat is 2nd, then it's Charles, Todd. They both lap Robinson, who continues to make the point. Langley, Tigwell and Soden. Catherine Legg is 8th. So what yet from the young lady in the Gillard cart? On board with her, Harry Soden, number 71, off grid 8th, is the next objective, as I said. Weaving across the track, leaving very little space there for Catherine Legg. She remains behind him. Howard, just 5 laps now away from the hat-trick of wins in this year's championship, keeps up the pace. His last 4 laps at 44.23 seconds, 44.27, 44.71 and 45.06 not only show the consistency, but represent the fastest of the day. And this is how he does it. Maximum throttle, economy of line, 100% plus concentration. And that's why the only ones who have seen him at all this afternoon are those being lapped. 4 to go, and another maximum surely. Cat 2nd, Charles 3rd, Dodds 4th. Legg now, still trying to crack Harry Soden's armour, and this could be it. Yes, Catherine Legg achieves what I think is her highest position this year in a TKMA final. So, can she improve on that? Damien Tigwell is the next in the firing line, and he might be a tougher nut to crack. And let's take another look at Harry Soden losing 7th, and really only himself to blame. Took his eyes off the track to check the flag, and that's a luxury you can't afford in any motorsport, and especially in this sort of company. Catherine Legg the beneficiary. Howard, and another blistering lap from the championship leader. 44.02 is 0.11 of a second quicker than his previous best. Langley is 5th, and it's Robinson still being lapped, and Legg is all over the back there of Tigwell, and still less than 10 seconds separate the top 14. This is for coveted 6th position. Damien Tigwell, runner-up in 96th, 12th in the table at the start of play, still repels the invasion from 43rd in the league, Catherine Legg. Jay Howard, 3 to go, easing up a fraction. Last lap, just over 45 seconds. Even so, he lapped Adrian Crockett, 4th. Tigwell, number 2, drifting wide, and Catherine Legg was up the inside, but Tigwell, brutal in response, slams the door and almost pushed her off the track. Howard stays out of trouble. But all eyes after the disappointments of Larkhall in round 2 on Catherine Legg in search of serious points, fighting Damien Tigwell. And she's got the gap, but can she hold it? Oh, well, no. Tigwell holds line and they collided. Well, the Maidenhead man not very amused. Just as well, perhaps, we didn't hear what was said. Well, that's a disaster. Let's take another look. And Tigwell sent out the invitation, no question about that. Leg accepts, but did she clip him? He angled in very quickly, as if he was pushed. Howard, penultimate lap. And the distance between him and Cat gets bigger and bigger. Over 5 seconds now, and in karting terms, that's a country mile. One more time with Tigwell and Legg. Well, no obvious signs of early contact, but Tigwell certainly turned around by something. And whatever the post-mortem, two parties definitely ruined. And this is where the celebrations are about to begin. Howard, number 76, on his final circumnavigation of the Three Sisters track here in Wigan. Doesn't even bother now looking over his shoulder. He knows exactly where everyone else is, and that's a long way back. It's been a super drive. Just 400 metres to go. Past the despondent figure of Catherine Legg. The checkered flag awaits, and Jay Howard from Basildon in Essex wins round 3 of the 1997 Ford Slick 50 TKM Championship.
I knew he was blocking all the way around the circuit. It was my only chance of getting past, and unfortunately he turned in on me and we both came off. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those racing sort of things. I mean, I was up the inside, but I don't know.
So you're not going to apportion any blame then?
No, I don't know. No.
One of those things.
One of those things.
Welcome back, and Catherine Legg talking about the end of her race. And these are the close of play TKM scores. Who can stop the runaway Howard is the question, and no one is the probable answer. We move swiftly on, and in Formula A Final 1, Dean Panrucker made the best start ahead of Bobby Game, with Paul Ozanne and Graham Melville in close attendance. But it was David Eaton, complete with camera, who was on a roll. Not quite the road he'd planned, of course, and a serious dent to his 1997 championship challenge. But that's karting, and here he goes again. A little unlucky, rolling over the front wheel of the cart alongside. That tees him up nicely, and the momentum finishes him off. Well, the rest of the race was pretty straightforward. Game posted a fast lap of 42 seconds, but still couldn't shake off Melville. They'll battle to the end of the championship for sure. Ozanne was third, while Panrucker and Jones swapped blows for fourth. Gary Paffett off grid 19th achieved 8th. Eddie Mendel was 9th from 17th. And Nick Jess came all the way from 22 to 10th. And what a performance that was! So, this is how they line up in Final 2. The finishing order as Final 1 determines the grid position, and that means that once again they all chase the 96 champion, number 1, Bobby Game. And while they're on the hot lap, let's give you a few more. Dylan Battistini, number 27, is 7th. Gary Paffett, 61, is 8th. Eddie Mendel, as we said, is 9th. Nick Jest, an amazing last race to come from 22nd to 10th. Those are the points after the first 2 rounds, and as part of that third at Larkhall, Bobby Game doing pretty nicely. And here they go. And it's Game, but up the inside comes Ozanne, but it's Melville who gets there first. And that was a terrible start for the champion. Phil Hill takes a spinner. Over the hill. Great start from Melville. Ozanne right up his exhaust. But Bobby Game from grid first is 5th after just half a lap. Well, let's see what happened again. And Game right in the centre takes an early nudge. But before Ozanne and Melville had delivered the sandwich, and that by a champion's standards is a poor start. And Phil Hill's 180 coming up. Well, not exactly clear what happened there to the grid 17 man, but he won't be happy, that's for sure. End of lap 1, and Game with it all to do. Melville leads, and Panrucker is ahead of Ozanne. Game blasts through into 4th. So, Melville leads Panrucker. And right behind now, Paffett in front of Game. Ozanne's dropped back. Oh, and Paffett makes a terrible mess of that. Game has gone through, and so has number 25, Adam Jones. Well, what was Paffett thinking about? Well, let's find out. Absolutely no danger here whatsoever until he fails to control the drift. Knows that game is set to pounce, and maybe that was the self-inflicted intimidation. Well, he completed the job himself, that's for sure, and has now paid the price. Dropping 2 places. Lap 3, 11 to go. Melville silver at Larkhall, going for gold, but under mounting pressure here from Panrucker, who ironically enough was the driver Game was suggesting at the start of the season might well offer the biggest threat to his title. Well, certainly showing some stunning form here. Melville leads, and it's Panrucker, Game, Jones, Ozan, Puffett, Jest and Rhodes. And the rest tight behind, 4th lap, and Ozan taking a look at Melville, and Paul Ozan takes the lead for the first time in this race. The winner at Larkhall continues the good form, but with still an awful lot to do in this one. Bobby Game number 1 closes up, followed by Adam Jones, Gary Puffett and Dylan Battistini. And there's some evidence here that the headwind down the straight is likely to play a significant role now today. Slipstreaming is the game, setting up the attack, to which there's no answer if you're in front. Either side, you're vulnerable. And here they are again. This time it's Melville on Panrucker. The compliments being repaid. Game watches, the point is made. We'll see a good few more of those, I feel, before the end of the race. And it's getting tight at the top. Game's last lap of 41.84 seconds is over a second quicker than his best in time practice. He's flying in 3rd. Less than 3 seconds separate the next 10. No room here for any errors. And surely we're in for another barnstormer. Leaders lap 7, Melville hooked down trying to reduce drag, but it's not enough. It's a double take this time. Game joins in the fun to grab 2nd. So, Melville, after leading for 4, is now 3rd. It's bumper to bumper in the top 3 on the Three Sisters track in round 3 of the Hillhouse Hammond Formula A Championship. Well, this is how they did it. Melville reaching back, richens up his engine, but all to no avail. Panrucker has all the inertia he needs for the lead, and Game tagging on behind has all the shelter he requires. And with the lead changing on almost every lap at the same point, who I wonder will be brave enough to hit the front on the penultimate lap? We'll see about that. Race 2/3 completed, and it's a courageous man who bets now on a winner from these 3. Well, let's take another look at the rerun on that double strike. It's like taking candy, isn't it? Melville, no chance of holding on at all. Game with a neat shimmy, also cashes in. Lap 10, what can Panrucker do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. It's another double, and Bobby Game takes the lead. Now then, what can he do? Through the S's, no problem. Jones is next, closely followed by Jess. Number 27 is Battistini, now being shadowed by number 12 Wright, and that's quite something. 14th for Wright it was on the grid. And this is Game going to the front. But can he live up to it? Melville, plucking a leaf from Game's book, follows the champ. And I will tell you, this is far from all over. Next lottery coming up. Where will Game finish at this time? 2nd? No, 3rd. And he's back where he started, and Graham Melville takes the lead for the 5th time. Well, where will this finish up? There's a new fastest lap of 41.17, and I can't tell you who posted it. But Panrucker's probably a pretty good guess. Final lap, and it's all changed again. Panrucker back in front, Game down the outside. Melville watches, Panrucker holds on, and that's the difficult bit done. Panrucker now half a lap from victory, but down the outside goes Game. Game hits the curve, hits Panrucker, Panrucker hits the curve, hits side by side. And here comes Melville. Melville will take the lead. No! Panrucker says no. Melville stays 2nd. Game stays 3rd. Jones, Wright and Jester next. But who will win round 3? It's Dean Panrucker. It's a first of the season. Absolutely magnificent. Well, just one more look, and Panrucker certainly won it. But that's mighty close for 2nd. And in the photo finish, Game could do no better than third, but he still leads overall. One little bet, it goes down to the last race of the season. You're on. We're off to get our breath back. See you next week.